Hurricane Matthew is doing its work on Florida right now and beyond. The Category 3 storm is scraping the shoreline as we speak. Top winds 120 miles per hour. Let's take a live picture now of the driving rain in Savannah. That's on the left part of your screen. As you know, Georgia and northern parts of Florida, Jacksonville, are bracing for the full brunt of this storm. And what would that look like? A storm surge of anywhere from 6 to 12 feet is what we've been learning. Electrical power, more than 650,000 people without it at this hour, as well as other utilities, as we've been talking about. And the dangerous swirling winds creating potentially devastating surges, picking up that ocean water and pushing it like a wall into the land. Matthew barrels north now. Florida Governor Rick Scott is warning, quote, the worst part is yet to come. Bryan Llenas is live in Wabasso Beach, Florida, with the latest. Bryan?
Hi, Harris. Where I am in Wabasso, which is in between Orlando and West Palm Beach, the treasure coast of Florida here. And really, a lot of people here are breathing a sigh of relief. You can see, though, some of the damage that this hurricane has caused. But a lot of people here were expecting a lot worse. And thankfully, for this part of the state in South Florida, what we've been seeing is things like this. Down trees, some localized little bit of flooding, up to, just a few inches. Some down power lines, some of those 600,000 plus that are now without power in the Palm Beaches and the Treasure Coast up into the Cape Canaveral region. NASA saying that the Kennedy Space Center even suffered some minimal damage. Airlines, by the way, are starting to come back online. Palm Beach International, Miami International, Fort Lauderdale are all resuming flights slowly but surely, coming off after, 4,500 flights were canceled between Wednesday and tomorrow. Orlando International Airport is closed until Saturday morning. But again, this is the kind of damage that we've been seeing throughout all of South Florida here, as that eye stayed off the coast a little bit more east, just 20 miles or so more to the west, and this could be a completely different story. Locals and people have been telling us they've had some damage, minimal to their roof, a little bit of localized flooding, but nothing they're not used to for some of these other storms. But again, it's important to reiterate what you said, Harris. The worst is yet to come, perhaps, for Jacksonville and Duval, Flagler, Nassau County. Those are the counties close to Georgia, as that surge that could be up to 11 or 12 feet is coming in at the time of high tide. And that is the concern right now for those areas. But here along the Treasure Coast and in South Florida, the damage seems to be, what you see here. This is kind of the worst of what we've seen thus far, Harris.
Yeah, one of the things that we've been talking about is just all the people without electrical power, and they've been working so hard to restore that so quickly. 150,000 already restored homes and businesses. So those crews, I'm just curious, are you seeing them out and about? Because it would take the kind of woman and manpower for utilities companies that would almost be nothing like we've seen since Sandy.
Exactly. What they do here in Florida, we're used to the storms down here, but thousands of people are pre-positioned. These utility workers are pre-positioned before the storm to make sure that as that storm moves through, they're able to come in and put the power on as the storm moves out so that people are without power for the least amount of time. Just to let you know, though, Hurricane Wilma, when that hit in 2005 and when Florida was hit by those 8 hurricanes in 2004, 2005, Florida Power and Light invested some $2 billion into infrastructure so that to make these power lines sturdier, to make sure that some of these things were actually put underground so that people wouldn't have to go 2 or 3 weeks without power like they did when Francis and Jean and Wilma hit back in 2004, 2005. Thus far, from what we've been hearing on the radio and local reports and from locals themselves, they are pleased with the response that they're seeing from Florida Power and Light and the thousands of brave utility workers who put themselves out here and leave their families at home to make sure that people get the power on as soon as they can.
That's right.
Harris.
So glad you were able to give us part of the story. And while you were talking, we were showing Daytona Beach. So as this thing moves through, yes, it does leave what you're seeing behind, but boy, when it comes through, it is pounding hard. Bryan Llenas, thank you very much.